Welcome to this panel on emerging tech in e-com. So the first thing that I thought of in this panel when I heard the name was ChatGTP. That is coming up. Everybody is talking about it. We also have a session about that in some time from now. But I personally am both amazed and afraid actually of how good ChatGTP is. But even for a thing like Chat GTP to work, there are four pieces in the jigsaw that need to fit. So the first one is technology creators or people who build the technology. And we have Sahil here, who is from uh, Bobble AI. Then we need agencies. Ritika here is from Group M. We also need performance marketing networks and agencies who can push growth. We have Abhinay here, and I am Akshay. I'll just do a quick round of introduction. So Ritika leads e-commerce practice at Group M India. Yeah, she's a seasoned business leader, about 20 years in the bag. And she's worked with consumer tech companies and has experience both in online and offline retail. And she's built successful customer-centric brands and businesses. Sahil is Chief Growth and Marketing Officer and Business Head for Conversational Commerce. He has 15 years across B2B, B2C, worked in multiple countries, India, UK, US, and Australia. He has led large-scale digital transformations at Times Internet, BB, Trell, Maidala, which makes him an industry veteran and seasoned business leader also. Abhinay is the Chief Growth Officer at Admatic. He's an experienced and an expert performance marketing manager himself. He has delivered campaigns for various clients, which include fintech, e-commerce, SaaS, etc. And his specialty or his expertise is in making customized marketing strategies and creating effective data-driven campaigns that deliver measurable growth. Now, this panel has all the four parts. We have the four jigsaw pieces who can fit into and make a technology work. So I'd like first, I want to ask Abhinay about voice commerce. So voice commerce is something that is coming up right now. So according to him, what do you think is voice commerce and what is your organization doing in it?
Um, Thanks, Akshay, for the introduction. I think that was quite brief enough. Hi, guys. Myself, Abhinay. I will quickly touch base upon what is voice commerce, what the world is heading towards. I am sure everyone of you here is aware about what AI and ML is and what it is trying to do around us. So when it comes to voice commerce, it's a method of shopping that's been introduced to the world. Post the traditional shops, then the e-commerce where you've been engaged on your mobile devices or your computers. It's now leading to voice search. I'm sure everybody here has um, had an experience with Alexa or a Google Home or the likes of, are there any more? A few of them. So when it comes down to it, it just makes your life easier when it comes to shopping. It is a behavioral pattern that a lot of these AI companies have been working upon, the likes of Alexa altogether, where you just put in a command to add your requirements to the cart, and it simply processes everything that is required. So that's how easy commerce is going day in, day out. Uh, Not pretty much in Indian diaspora so far, but it's quite out there in the US or the Western markets to be very precise. And so that's more or less around what voice commerce would be. Just to give you an example, how we leveraged voice commerce for a specific set of brands in the personal care or in the lines of even online grocery, coming from the US market itself, where the set of brand was the brand was a part of the online grocery ecosystem. Uh, During COVID, when everything was pretty much not accessible to people, that's when this case study was built up, wherein the brand leveraged voice commerce as a solution. They saw the cutthroat competition that was there out in the market. And when it came down to it, they wanted to initiate the technological advancements that they wanted to have. And that's where they initiated the conversations around voice commerce. Uh, we integrated the systems with Alexa, provided the technologies and the solutions from our end, which led them to increase their add to cart values by close to 22% than the traditional ways of marketing so far. That's one of the case studies that we usually highlight upon. So while this is a mass market product, we also initiated a niche level product as well, which was into men's personal care or grooming. The brand, again, had a separate value proposition in head where you would buy the product, but you would need a constant refill. You would need constant subscriptions to be driven. That's where the solution came in, where technologies came forward with Alexa and with Google. The apps pushed the requirements out there when there are constant notifications being put out, constant reminders being put out that, okay, you need a refill, you need to get your product out there because it's been a month, it's been 45 days, and so on and so forth. So all of this learning altogether really impacted the brand's subscription growth altogether. And we saw a whopping 45% increase in the overall subscription rates that we saw, and that was across all the channels. So typically, what I would like to highlight on the lines of what voice commerce is doing today.
So one important thing that I take from what you've said is for any technology or any product to work, what is essential is that it should be a habit formation activity. In some time, people should naturally pull out their phones or do that activity. So we have done that with Uber, right? Now it is a very natural activity, but that requires to solve some problems. And according to me, what this activity does is that it solves for time, as in it quickly place an order, and it solves for the physical effort to find a laptop or a phone and order. So habit formation is a kind of an activity that helps this. And continuing on the same trend, I would like to ask both Ritika and Sahil about your definitions of conversational commerce and what your companies are doing in that. So we'll start with Ritika first.
Thank you. It's a very good question because conversational commerce is really the phenomena that has kind of evolved across the world. And what it really means in simple word is that this is a form of commerce which is at the intersection of messaging and commerce. So while in an offline world, people like us go to the shops or departmental stores and we ask a lot of questions around our, when we go for shopping, we ask a lot of questions on what is it that we are looking for, what could go well with us. Those opportunities in the world of commerce are far of few. So the way brands are kind of overcoming this interaction with the consumers to drive commerce outcomes is to get AI-powered chatbots in place. So I think all of us here in the room, I can very confidently say, have interacted with quite a few chatbots in the past. So when you say in banking in India, it is Eva of HDFC. Or when you go to Make My Trip, there are chatbots. If you go to Milk Basket, there are chatbots. The JioMart, there are chatbots. So we all engage with the chatbots. Chatbots kind of are the medium for brands to interface with the consumers to solve for problems like customer support, or objectives like sales transaction, or engagement, or personalized experiences. So in an offline environment where, online environment where brands can't answer a lot of questions for the consumers, and telephonic support could not be as much, this is really the technology that kind of powers that journey or builds a relationship between the consumers and the brands. Now, how has GroupM we come into the picture? So we kind of understood that commerce is still a very formative stage in India. But then how do we kind of build that kind of experience for the brands and help them to engage, go forward in their journey, is by helping our brands to evaluate a lot of technologies that could be relevant for them. In the world of technology, while everything looks very exciting and amazing, there are way too many options, and most of these options may or may not match with the brand's objectives. So that's where we come into the picture and we kind of help a brand define their objectives, evaluate their technologies, help them build a growth path, and help them to kind of fulfill the needs of the consumers and to drive that engagement with the consumers. So this is really my definition of conversational commerce and how we come into the picture. Would you like to add something?
Yeah, thanks, Ritika. And good afternoon, everybody. It's an excellent panel discussion topic that we have on our hands. I'd like to start by saying that I feel that the definition of conversational commerce is heavily skewed towards chatbots, right? Because that is the only way that we have defined it so far. Now, in our line of business, and I represent Bobble AI, we are the world's largest conversational media platform. We are a keyboard service. We are a platform built on top of the keyboard service on the smartphone. So just to give you an example, like Instagram and Snapchat are built on top of the camera service, or a Dropbox is built on top of a file service, Netflix on top of a video service. Similarly, Bobble AI is a part of the keyboard service, and that allows us to collect real-time intents from our users. So we know exactly what content is being consumed, what products are being purchased, what services are being bought, what games are being played. And these real-time intents really makes the platform extremely powerful to drive both advertising and transactions. Now, I want to touch upon a very simple commerce journey today. Let's imagine a group of friends want to travel to Goa. What's the typical process? They're going to go, have a chat on a platform like WhatsApp. They're going to want to search for accommodation. They're going to want to search for flight tickets. But in this process, your business, the booking platform, is waiting for users to come to you. In our approach, we want to be more proactive, which means that while the user is having this conversation with their friend, we're able to serve very relevant intent to that customer. So for example, you want to book a flight ticket, you have a suggestion that comes up. You're able to see options of booking those tickets, booking those accommodations, those hotels in that location. Let's say you want to travel from Andheri to Dharavi. You're able to see, hey, you want to book a cab because the AI knows that you're looking for that intent. You want to take home some flowers and cakes. You have options to do that right from the keyboard. And that, I feel, is the power and the definition of how we look at conversational commerce. So we're not an Amazon or a Flipkart. We're not asking users to come to us and buy. Rather, we're taking your products and services to the users. So when I imagine conversational commerce, for me, it's personalized, quick, absolutely relevant, and friction-free. And that is what our keyboard experience will provide to the users.
There's actually one more word which I want to add there, which is instant gratification. I think that is why the quick commerces of the world are there, because if I want something and I want it in 10 minutes, I want a juice and I want it in 10 minutes, this is in a way help in the same thought that I can book my hotel while I'm having a conversation with my friends about going to Goa. So that is a good thing. Sahil, since this is already there, what are the early signals that you are getting from the market? How are the customers perceiving it, or how are the customers receiving this kind of a system? Because I think it is rather new to India, maybe. Yeah.
Sure, that's a great question. So yeah, we are getting some very good early signals. We've recently launched Bobble Super, and I would urge everybody to download the Bobble Indic keyboard from the Play Store and the App Store, and you can experience the power of this immersive commerce experience on the keyboard itself. We are seeing that certain categories like electronics, like food and grocery are doing very well. Now, a good trend that comes out of this is that electronics drives up a lot of our average order values. These are products that users are okay to buy north of 2,500 rupees to 5,000 rupees. But at the same time, we are also seeing high frequency purchases happening on grocery. So somebody wants to order protein bars, somebody wants to order Nutella. Those kind of items are also being bought off the platform because those are part of active conversation intents. Now, the interesting thing with the keyboard is, and a lot of people might not know about this, the most used app on a smartphone is the keyboard, because you're invoking it almost 100 to 120 times in a day. Right? The average time spent by a user on a smartphone is 3.5 hours today. And another interesting statistic is that 89% of the users in India are using a chat application like WhatsApp. Last but not the least, 62% of the customers are demanding personalized offers. So when you put together these 4 data points, it's very clear that it's intent-based, it is value addition at the right time, at the right place. And that is where I feel categories like electronics or food and grocery or personal care are all going to work because we are making it relevant for the user, right? At the same time, when the user is purchasing this, there's a lot of impulse buying happening. Impulse buying happens on e-commerce. It happens on social commerce. So I feel the way retail has evolved to social commerce, similarly, conversational commerce is going to take away a large part of the market share from retail. And that, for me, is a big trend that I see emerging. Purchases are happening across tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. So I think these are all very encouraging signals when we look at the future of how conversational commerce is going to trend.
So moving from conversational commerce, next is live commerce. Again, what is your definition of what is live? That is also something new, at least for me. And how do you think your org is
I
to
think
do
that
it?
is the most exciting form of commerce because shopping, and I'm sure all of you, it's not like very purpose-based all the time. Shopping is also a lot of shoppertainment, a lot of engagement and experience.
Impulse based also.
Also. So that's live commerce. That in a video streaming environment, live commerce functionalities offer consumer a choice to purchase without leaving that environment. So technically, that's a definition. But I think how it has gotten into the picture, especially in India, I can say that because world over, different dimensions, different plays and nuances. But in India, I'm sure all of us, most of us have grown up seeing our moms shopping from Home Shop 18 and Shop 18 and all of that. So in a world where TV has sunsetted, TV shopping has sunsetted, something had to come into the picture, and that's live commerce. So because digital is a way of engagement, we are always on the apps, we are always on a mobile. So when that TV shopping kind of subsided, live shopping kind of emerged. And I would say, live commerce in China is really evolved. But in India, we are still Amazon and Flipkart when it comes to commerce, but how boring is that? You look at some images, you look at some content, and you want to buy it. But as we are progressing, and as tech is emerging, and as the dynamics are changing, and as I would also say that internet bandwidth is also increasing, live commerce has kind of found its way in India. So, how brands are kind of evolving or engaging with the consumer in this space is when they're going to, on the social media handles or on the websites. Say if you look at the new age brands like Wow Skin Science, Mamaearth, and all of that new age, you go to the website and you see how the influencers are kind of, demonstrating the products, or brands are kind of showcasing what their products stand for. And in the live commerce environment, consumers can also engage a lot with the brands there and then. So it's a new form of commerce that's emerging, which is actually based on the fundamentals of excitement, real life experiences, as much as digital avenues can offer, and excitement. So this is something that is at a very nascent stage in India, but how I look at it is that 5 years, 10 years down the line, this will really be the way forward. So if you look at industry players like Amazon, Myntra, they're all kind of getting into this direction where they're helping their users to kind of engage more, understand more, get involved more in a live streaming environment. And from Group M perspective, I can say that we've seen a dynamic shift in the last 2 years, especially, where almost all the brands in certain categories like beauty, fashion, they don't want to do a basic core kind of experience for their customers anymore. They want to go beyond. They want to showcase more. It's not about one image of shampoo somewhere on some e-commerce platform, but offering that whole experience, education, and functionalities around a product, and to engage with the consumers to drive commerce outcomes. But so this is where live commerce is in India, and this is how we're kind of building up the experience for many, many brands.
So since we've been talking about commerce, I'll just take us through a journey in commerce. So long back when I was a kid, we had to go to the store and buy. Then the telephones came, so you could call up the store and they would send something home. So one step closer. The third step is then we had a smartphone. From the smartphone, you could go to the e-commerce app and buy. That is even more closer. That is getting even more closer now because now I don't even need to go to the e-commerce app. I can sit on WhatsApp and I can buy. And now with ONDC is something that I learned in the last 2 days. I can buy from WhatsApp on the Kirana store that I used to walk down the street and buy. So hopefully, with changing time, this is how technology has moved, and hopefully it will benefit us, all of us. But I think we have talked a lot about commerce. I just want to change the topic a little bit. Talk about the Internet of Things, the concept that everything is connected. You can control everything using a app or a phone or a computer or something like that. And I'd like to get Abhinay's view on this too.
So, I'm not sure how many of you are aware about the concept of Internet of Things. It's a very common concept that you see day in day out, all around you. Uh, it refers to a system of interconnected devices from your, whatever you have at your home in terms of your smart home devices, your smart home lightings, to even your smart watches. That's what Internet of Thing is. It's everything is interconnected. Everything is, pretty much helping you keep a track of your goals, to keep a track of, how are you currently doing with things, from e-commerces to your even fitness goals that you're looking at. So, more or less, that's more around what Internet of Thing is. If I have to probably take you through a quick case study around what a watch brand in India, a traditional watch brand in India, uh, how did they adapt to this technology, and how did they really make the best move out of it? So while you obviously deal with the likes of Fitbits or the like of Apple Watches in the world, this Indian brand has been famous for their analog watches. They're pretty much out there. Everybody, all of us here in this room must have used the brand as well, and they had form of FOMO, that they were losing onto something. They were losing onto the whole activity where everybody is moving towards smartwatches. Why not us? That's where the leverages of this technology came forward, and the brand adapted to the technology. Uh, it helped the existing lot of users, or it helped the users who were the brand fanatics, who were very loyal to this particular brand. Was they had that shift in the scene very well, and people started adapting to that particular product of theirs as well. So when it comes down to it, everything. So whatever you track on your personal fitness goals, to your reminders or your notifications, your WhatsApp, emails, everything that got configured. That's pretty much what Internet of Thing is. And I think everything around us is just about that. And in I think the next 7 years that are left in this decade, it's particularly just going to be around, these things that we're looking forward to. So yeah, pretty much it.
So, right from simple things like I can change the light color with my app, even that is IoT,
Pretty much
and
it.
how my smartwatch tracks. Oh, I'm not wearing one right now, but yeah, it tracks blood pressure and oxygen and hemoglobin. I don't know what else smartwatches do right now. So there is there is a lot of change that has happened and is going to happen now. 5G will be there soon. OpenAI is going to impact our life in ways that even I can't think of. There's a very nice OpenAI tool called DALL-E, DALLE. I've spent a lot of time on it, just making art, piece of art. That also is doing a great job. Someday, I hope my marketing creatives get made through those systems also. I am hoping that will happen someday. Uh, yeah, that is it from our side. If there is any questions, we can take that up. And I'd like to thank Ritika, Sahil, and Abhinay, all three of them, for this.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you have any questions, kindly raise your hand and I shall pass you the mic.
Hi guys, thanks for the chat. So my question is, there are always new technologies around. Uh, as brands in commerce, you have limited money, so it's important to prioritize your time and amount of monies in technology. So if you had to arrange the technologies in descending order of importance, where you would want to bet your time and money. So that's one. And a related question, I think a lot of times we overinvest and some technologies become false positive, like metaverse, maybe a little bit early. So maybe some thoughts on that.
Oh, I think the question is a BCG or a McKinsey level question about prioritization of tech. How what I'll pass
Akshay-
it on the panel.
Akshay,
definitely.
I think you should answer that first. You're
No, no, no.
best placed.
No, no. So I'm okay. So I'm on the client side.
You are
and,
you're looking at all technologies available and deciding whether to invest or not, right?
yeah, but I'm on the client side and I'm trying to get 3 people on the same table so that I can solve. But yeah, I'll pass it on. The difficult question, the panel can take it.
So this is a very interesting question. Thanks for that. While we are talking about metaverse, VR, AR, chatbots, all of the future technologies, I think one part we are missing out on is how we are harnessing the current technologies. And I think that is where I would want this audience to sort of think, have we extracted everything that we had to extract for what is available today? So I think just one point to consider when we talk about the metaverses of the world. Yes, it is the future. Yes, it will happen. But we have to cater to today. We have to cater to now so that we exist in the future. Right? The second part I also want to talk about is the pandemic has changed the way brands engage with users and how users perceive that engagement with the brand. So if you are not changing your DNA with the current adoption, WhatsApp was never going to be a channel that people thought, will brands be using this channel, right? It was a personalized communication, but today we are doing both of them and we've had mass acceptance. The second point to consider is that irrespective of the budgets and the spends that you have, customer engagement is at the heart of every marketing strategy. So where would you want to put your stake or bet your money? Where you're likely to engage the customer more, even if it's a newer technology or an old tried and tested model. So one size fits all is obviously not the answer. I think those are two thoughts I wanted to share.
Ritika also.
No, I think pretty much similar. Consumers at the heart of should always be at the heart of your decision making and your organization goals. So technologies are dime a dozen. I think we probably, if we would have had this session for 5 hours, we wouldn't have probably, at the dirt of any ideas of how much more we could present. So, consumer centricity is must. And you're right, lots of technologies. But my take on this is that, 70% of your time and energy and investment should go into what your consumers are kind of looking at currently and the next 3 years. And then, of course, you may just take some futuristic bet, spend at least 20-30% of your investment and efforts into what could future be. So I think my take is that only. And moreover, a lot of it is FAF also. But how do you kind of really figure out whether it's FAF or relevant is by doing some light POCs. The moment you do some POCs and A/B testing, you're able to gauge it in real time whether it makes sense or not. So yeah.
Thank you, everybody. Thanks to all 3 of you. And for any questions, these they are somewhere. You can find them somewhere here only. You can catch.
Well, I
Catch
believe
hold
we'll be
of them.
more than happy to take more questions off record. As of now, that will be all for this session. Thank you so very much for this session. Can we have a round of applause for these people? Could I please request you to kindly come up front for a group picture?